roll call attendance, please.
April Brandon,
Here.
Joe Mishler,
Present.
Preston Kennard.
Here.
Oh. I'll finish this for you. Chris Padilla. Amber Benedict.
Here.
Shannon Cole.
Here. We have a quorum. I will entertain a motion to excuse Cassandra Padilla. She did write in ahead of time.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Cole,
Second?
second by Benedict. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried. Approval of agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mishler,
Support.
support by Cole. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried. Public comments. Oh, thank you for the correction. I skipped right over something here. If you are willing and able, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public comments, agenda and non-agenda items. Public comments are limited to 4 minutes. Persons addressing the board should state their name and address.
Point of order.
Yes.
Don't we approve the minutes first, or?
Did I already do that, you
We
guys?
did the
I
agenda.
did, because I did it out of order.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's,
we didn't approve the
We didn't do
minutes.
the minutes, we did the agenda.
oh, thanks, guys. Approval of April meeting minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Mishler,
I will second that.
second by Cole. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried. Public comments, 4 minutes. Addressing the board, state your name and address, direct the comments to the president. Anyone? Seeing none, hearing none. Bills for payment. Bills to pay, ramp, and P&L statement, please. Any questions for the director?
Does that include this thing, or is this something separate?
That is separate, sir.
The budget adjustment's separate, okay.
Yes, sir.
I am taking it that these Amazon purchases are new books.
You should be correct on that.
Love that.
Also okay for miscellaneous.
James.
The Groupon are me getting licenses for Office 2024.
Perfect.
I'm
That's
cheaper that way. The Department of Agricultural was for our food bank for our annual license.
How much does that cost? The annual license,
Yeah.
I just,
If there are no questions, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
a second,
Motion by Mishler, second by Nard. Roll call, vote please.
Brandon,
Yes.
I don't have a list of everybody's last name, wait, Mishler,
Yes.
Kennard, yes, Padilla, absent, Benedict,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Hayes,
I don't know.
He
Sorry.
votes if there's a tie.
Which one we did?
Motion carried. Did you want to grab the thing so that you can mark down the minutes?
yes, I'm sorry,
I have
Greg
a
had it.
for you.
I'm used to it, sorry. Where are we?
You need a break.
President.
That's my file number.
Thanks.
All right, so we're at the president report. Okay, so, I recently got a letter of interest with a resume. And all of you might remember Michelle, she was the attorney that came and introduced herself and started writing out for some grants for us. And, I will get to the reason why she's applying for a position in a minute. But first she said, I am writing to express my sincere interest in serving on the Holly Township Public Library Board of Trustees as a lifelong library enthusiast, an active member of the Friends, which she would resign if she was to get a seat on the board, and a lawyer with extensive experience in local and municipal laws and regulations, I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute to the continued success of our library and its mission to serve the community. Can we pass those around? Libraries have been an essential part of my life since childhood, from participating in summer reading challenges to relying on library resources while studying for the LSAT. I have always appreciated the educational and community building role that libraries play. Today I have the privilege of bringing my son to the Holly Library, where he enjoys the programs and resources that encourage his curiosity and learning. In addition to my personal connection to the library, I have been actively involved in supporting its growth through the Friends groups and my previous acquirers and involvement with the board. I have participated in fundraising efforts and played a role in drafting grant proposals and funding requests to secure additional resources for library programming. As a lawyer, I bring a solid understanding of local and municipal laws and regulations, which I believe would be invaluable in navigating the legal and governance aspects of the library's operations. My experience in compliance, contracts, and community engagement would allow me to make informed and thoughtful decisions on behalf of the library and its patrons. The library is a vital community asset, and I am deeply committed to its continued success and evolution to meet the needs of Holly Township residents. I would be honored to serve on the board and contribute my skills, experience, and passion for public libraries to furthering its mission. Thank you for considering my application. I would welcome the opportunity to discuss how I can support the Holly Township Public Library as a member of the board. Warm regards, Michelle Walsh. If you turn it over, let's take a peek at her. I won't read this word for word, but her experience is extensive and exemplary. And she's got my full and unreserved support. I reached out to her because the village will soon likely be discussing cityhood, which will pose a conflict of interest for me, as they might talk to the library about who knows what in regards to cityhood. There's all sorts of things that can come up. At that time, when it does, Shannon herself will have to make a decision as well. So I wanna set the library up for success. I don't want us both to have to leave at the same time. I'd like to stagger that. So with someone like Michelle, if the board was to decide that they would enjoy her, I could put her on next month's agenda for consideration and have my resignation to be at the end of that next regular meeting. And any questions, please go ahead, Joe.
Have they taken some official action here?
No, but as soon as the discussions come up, I'm going to be in a conflict of interest. I cannot negotiate
Just
for
with the
two.
discussions.
What's that?
You're-
Yeah, just for the discussions, because I can't make recommendations when I'm involved with, well, both, right? And I'm the president of both, so that's even more, in my opinion, and I wanna lead by example. Anything else?
So you'd resign or what?
I would resign from the library, yes.
Okay, what does that mean for us? What does that mean we're gonna have to do we would pick somebody or the?
Well, I would still be on the board next month, so it's possible I could vote towards a replacement as well. I don't see a conflict of interest there. Not a replacement for the role of president, but just a trustee member. And then at the next meeting after that, that board would, pick the new president.
So the person who, Michelle, let's just speak about this person, right? So she would come in as a trustee at first, and then she would move if she was applying for the president position.
No, you guys would need a new president immediately to run the meetings.
So would someone have to just step up for that?
Yes. And then the board would make a vote on that.
And Michelle could do that.
She could do it
with.
without any
Yeah.
experience beforehand.
She could step in as president?
I don't know,
That's what I'm
Well, no, we
asking.
would have to nominate her, but I mean, she would be an eligible person.
I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand.
each and every one of you would be an eligible candidate
Yeah.
for president, because you're all on the board.
Any trustee could run for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me. If you were to resign, there's an open spot. Should we open it up to the public?
Well, I don't see a need to myself. If that's something the board wants to do, then
No, I'm
that's,
asking, in light of transparency, terms of legality, all of that kind of stuff. Should we open it up to the public? Should
I
we?
feel like maybe we should, this talk outside of actual meeting hours.
We can't.
You can't.
We can.
It has to be,
Okay, so help me understand, like, what you're asking then, Joe, like, explain it in fifth grade language, please.
So that there's more than one person applying.
But isn't Michelle part of the public?
yes,
Yes,
in the past, we have solicited letters of interest from the public. With a resume like this, I don't really see a need to. I don't think that we have to. It is board preference. This is not an election. This board was elected by the public and entrusted with the responsibilities of, appointments. Sorry, I could not think of that word for a second. So I don't think it's necessary, but previously that is what we did. So Joe does have a point.
She is sending her resume to us, so this is not considered opening it up to the public. This is more like
I solicited her
okay,
because
that's what
of,
I'm trying to understand.
from
Okay,
her,
I got it.
from her engagement in the past,
Yeah,
from her grant applications, and from her involvement with the Friends. I
right,
already knew a pretty extensive amount about her, and I thought, well, wow, she'd be a great fit.
gotcha,
I think she'd be top notch.
Madam President,
agreed.
Yes, sir.
may I read from the law?
Yes, that would be
Please.
fantastic, thank you.
Okay. A city or village library, can you hear me, Tina?
Oh, here, say it in the mic though, because the public should hear this as well, thank you.
A city or village library governing board shall fill a vacancy in membership by appointment of the individual to hold office until the next regular election in which city or village officers are elected. A township library governing board shall fill a vacancy in membership by appointment of an individual to hold office until the next general election. And that person would have to be a resident of a qualified in the township.
So it does not specify on our process, that piece is up to us.
Our bylaws state only,
Our bylaws state,
state that
I was appointed in my first time here and then had to run for election.
In between the,
Yeah,
okay, I
yeah.
gotcha.
in the event a trustee must be replaced or an unfilled term completed, such appointment will be made in accordance with PA 164, which I just quoted from.
Okay. And I believe, in my opinion, that the reason the process is not laid out in specifics in black and white is to give the elected officials the opportunity to come up with what their current understanding and current kind of culture is.
Okay.
And these should be representatives of today's public in Holly, and so I think that that's why it's as vague as it is. It gives us a little bit of breathing room to navigate it how we like. So, thank you for clarifying that. You have my recommendation, but it is at the board's pleasure that I will write the next agenda, and that can either be begin soliciting other applications. This can be a consensus, it doesn't have to be a motion. Consensus just means kind of say what you want to say, and then the next agenda will reflect that for what I put on it.
My consensus is with you, I agree.
To just go with Michelle?
Yeah.
What about you, Amber? You look torn.
So I work in HR. So while I'm not a certified HR professional, I do work in the field of human resources. And so my inclination would be to follow the precedent that has been set, which is to open it to the public and to go with the process that was previously in place. Because I would view that as the perception that that was the process before, and that's the process that would follow with the next vacancy.
For fairness sake.
But also because, for fairness, but also because that was the precedent, so more for fairness, transparency.
Joe?
Can I ask a question first?
Of course.
Were other people nominated when you were I mean, were other people in
Yes.
the mix?
There were,
So the first, when I was nominated, there were two of us who came in and interviewed. But prior to that, when Natalie was nominated, it was, I believe, just Natalie, right?
Yeah,
there was a gentleman, a younger, much younger, do you remember him?
Jacob Crevier, and there was, Natalie, Elizabeth, or wait, Elizabeth ran against you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was with me. I thought Natalie was on her own, so.
She might have been.
There is, the precedent prior, at least in the last couple vacancies, have been a one person and then a two person.
Okay, so that's fair as well.
Okay, then,
And both, everybody had great resumes, like
Oh, yeah.
Natalie's was stellar, Liz was amazing.
Liz was
I mean,
amazing.
college professor, all
Mhm.
of that.
okay, I don't have a problem with this person. I guess my problem is political
Mhm.
in nature. This is Holly. You're gonna bring somebody on. I don't care how qualified they are. You're gonna just bring somebody on. And without allowing anybody else to have the opportunity to put their name in. I don't wanna see us start something we might have trouble finishing.
That's fair. And
But
Shan,
on
oh,
the other
sorry.
hand, I have nothing against this person. Although I think making her president right off the bat would be a mistake.
Making her president right off the bat is not part of my recommendation, by the way.
Right.
It's kinda sounded like it was going that way.
It's not coming from me, though.
Okay.
No, I just thought I was clarifying Tressa's comment.
And I was just trying to
Any-
clarify.
Any
everything,
member,
too.
any
No, I'm not
trustee
right.
can be, any trustee can run for any, like, seat on this board.
Yeah.
Any trustee.
I don't
And
think
just
any, I
period.
don't think anyone
It could
brand
be-
new should be fast tracked to president. And then Shannon, what's your comment on this?
I think Michelle is great. If we wanna open it up, that's fine. I don't think, my personal opinion is the fact that she has jumped in as a friend to begin with it is huge. You know, there's not, volunteerism in Holly is such a big deal, right? Like, we don't have a ton, it's always the same people, and people are doing a lot, and this woman has put her time where her mouth is, and I appreciate that. I think people who are putting in the work is amazing. And anybody with some experience in employment counseling and litigation sounds like a great addition to this board.
Okay.
I
Then
think
how,
it gives us a solid group.
then how about this? I have Greg put up email blast out. Is that an appropriate way to solicit? No, I hear a
probably
from Tina.
Facebook post. We can do an email blast out, it would be our patrons only.
Okay,
Right.
so a Facebook post and maybe on the website?
Yeah.
Okay, so a Facebook post on the website, and then the agenda will say to, listen to the applicants and then vote.
I'm all for that.
For
Okay,
the June meeting, question mark?
yes, please. So that'll give us 1 month to solicit people.
Do you want that in the form of a motion?
No, I think consensus is fine. This is just writing the agenda for next
Okay.
month.
I agree with what's being done,
Okay, yeah, as long as everyone's just kinda nodding, that's,
but just sort of for clarification,
Mhm.
we're going to allow them to speak, is that correct?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
I
they should
can't
all
remember
introduce
how long you
themselves.
got to speak.
I don't think we
I
timed it, did we?
didn't have a time. People ask
Yeah.
questions and I just answer
Okay.
them.
No set time.
Yeah. So, you know, if they take advantage of that, keep that in mind when you vote.
Right, right. When it was me, there was no set time and just people ask questions of myself and Liz, like about our resume and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and to clarify, I didn't think too much of it being, that I solicited her as I don't know her. I only know of her service through here and what others have said of her, and then obviously her application and grant writing and the reports that she made to us on emails about the grants that she was soliciting for us. So, but I think that this is fair and we will move forward that way, Mr. Director.
Will we be having an election at the June meeting?
think that would be July meeting because I will be resigning at the end of the June meeting. And then I won't be able to vote on that.
Yes, cause that would give whoever we choose to fill your vacancy a chance to vote in that election in July.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Where are we, you guys? Director report, please. I think with the library.
You're at the library, I get down on a pile here. All right. Director report. I moved $200,000 from money market to general fund. That'll show up when I show you the, budget updates for this evening. The Friends, voted to contribute $4,000 towards summer reading, divided as 2,000 for children, 1,000 for teens, 1,000 for adults.
That's amazing.
There was preliminary injunction on May 6th, stopping the president's executive order. I am not familiar how long these things go through the court system, so Mel says they will cease operations on October 1st if they don't get funded. And summer reading will begin on June 16th and run until August 2nd. And as a point of clarification, the next item on the agenda is the,
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
That far.
yeah,
All right, on this Mel thing,
yeah,
I agree with you on the courts, it just depends on which court, who's doing it, and all of that kind of stuff, so it could be next month, it could be fall, could be winter, I don't know. But my question is, we should put it on the agenda, I don't care which one, June or July, really doesn't matter to me, is to come up with an alternative solution to losing Mel. Now, I know from the Fenton Library that they're in a different position than we are, they're in the Genesee County District Library, but they're also in the Mid-Michigan Library Cooperative. I don't know if I'm saying those words
I think
correctly.
that's what we're in, right?
Are we in that too?
we are in that, actually, GDL moved to TLN. And that would be my recommendation to the board if we do lose Mel. TLN is a library network and their resources, well, not as great as Mel, are pretty substantial. And that would give us the ability to.
And that's the one I've been kind of thinking we needed to move on to for a long time, but the funding was crazy. But we now have increased revenue.
So can we find out what the funding is for this TLN?
Yeah, our last quote was what?
I want to say 35,000. Roughly, yeah, but they, offer a lot
Yes.
for that money. I mean, when we were watching every nickel, that was a no-brainer that we couldn't join, but now that we're in a little bit better financial position, that's something the board should think about.
Could we put that on the agenda?
Do we wanna make it for August, like an August agenda, so that
Well-
way we're before October, but, cause when do we
How
buy
long is-
into the co-op when?
Right, we have to put our notice in before October 1st.
Okay,
Joe?
So how long does it take to get into TLN or whatever it is? Library network, I mean, is there a application form, is there, I don't know,
They vote on it, their director was here at a couple meetings, at least one meeting. I don't think it would be a problem for us to apply to get into them. It was, I don't know the transition time, they have a different cataloging system than we do, check-in system than we do, so it would be a matter of training and
do
getting
we
in.
have any updates of when our construction is hitting?
I was
When are they
talking with that
starting
about April, thinking maybe.
Pretty smart,
October.
Shannon.
Well, cause I was thinking, let's time it for the
Time
time.
it to line
that-
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Line up everything together.
every now and then I come
Tina,
up
have
with
you
a
worked
one.
with TLN before?
For me, I'm sorry.
Have you worked with TLN before?
Yes, that's where I came from.
They're amazing.
What was
I-
the learning curve for you?
Well, actually, I was involved on the committee for their current ILS, and I was trained the trainer. So at my one particular library, I trained everybody else. I don't know if you know, but I'm still kind of classified as a sub. I haven't subbed at any of those libraries for probably 2 years, because every time the conflicts, right? But the last time I subbed, I mean, it's like a 5-minute thing for me to like, oh, how do I do this again, kind of thing. And it's like riding a bicycle.
Okay.
I didn't have any special training here on Apollo other than staff training me. It is different, and I just wanna point out, there's 2 different ways. I think that Steve Bauer had mentioned this when he was here. He's the director of TLN. You know, you can be, like Brandon and Clarkston are standalone libraries, meaning they don't share the catalog, or you can be part of that shared catalog. So there's like 50-some libraries in that co-op that share the catalog, and then the other like 20 have their own catalogs. When you're in the shared system, then you get things really quick in delivery. I know that I actually did a test when I was working at 2 different libraries, and I could put something in the evening, and it would get picked up that morning. The following day, it was at the receiving library.
If wishes were horses and we're able to line up, the shutdown for the redesign and the transition to TLN, do you think it'd be possible to train the rest of the staff on TLN during that time as well?
I think so. I mean, it's hard. It's kind of hard to do the training ahead of time. It's almost better to do it live.
Hands-on is better?
You
Okay.
know, really.
And then what would you expect for, like, in regards to disruption of services?
They put the system in, and like
You just
over.
learn on your feet?
I mean, it was like over Memorial Day weekend and then the day after we were live.
So no real disruption of services
No,
for learning
not-
there, it's just your service might be a little slower that day?
Yeah, just probably more user, errors or
Yeah.
getting used to it kind of thing, because
Okay, thanks.
it does look a lot different.
Okay, great, thank you.
And the shared one would open up, just in the horrible instance that we lose Mel, the shared one gives a vast resource, which is helpful.
Okay,
Hopefully, Mel stays.
all right, so moving on to staff opting out of health insurance. Mr. Director, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President. Per your directive, I added this item to health insurance. Of our staff members, 5 have opted into our 80/20 health insurance plan. Are we required by law to provide opt-out compensation? No, we're not. Cost to the library is below. How would this affect employees? It would be tax consequences. A reimbursement would be treated as income for the beneficiaries. If the board chooses to go that way, there is various ways to calculate that. A defined payment per month, an average of all staff member contributions, the actual amount that an employee would pay in the provided insurance, and down below, we pay 80%, the employees pay 20%. Our cost for insurance is this fiscal year, will be about $28,000. Employee contribution would be about $5,600. Average employee contribution is about $353 a month. And obviously, it varies by age, dependence, and things like that. I will, since I would be affected by this, I'm not gonna say an opinion on it.
what if it was, a defined payment per month, but based on the employee contribution? But less, because they're getting cash instead of benefits, and also it's an average. So, I'll just shoot a number out there, $150 a month.
So the way it works in my experience, at least in my district, is you get 2 payments. We get one in December and one in June, because that's the way the budget falls in schools. And it's $500 each installment. And it is absolutely taxed. It comes through your paycheck. So you don't really get the 500 because they do tax it, but, we get $1,000 a year to opt to do cash in lieu, is how it works for mine.
Okay. Anyone else comments?
Just in the same theory of, nonprofit kind of public funded
And that
thing.
bulk kind of payment is kind of cool too, because then they get 500 at once instead of just 100 here or 200 there.
When we get funded in certain times, when are those?
Usually late December through March.
Okay. So December and June would make sense here too, because it'd be the end of the budget for July, starts our fiscal year, it would end the budget there, and then December comes funding.
The place where you came from, what was their annual budget, or, annual
It's,
millions?
yeah, and out of,
But they also had a lot more employees too,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
So,
very much so.
Greg, can you have something prepared for the next meeting, in regards to this? I would recommend that we, is this under old?
It should be.
Yeah, I'd recommend that we, is it table or postpone for the next meeting? Joe?
Table.
I recommend we table this till the next meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
And have Greg prepare, something based on Shannon's idea to annual. Use something that makes sense, come up with a dollar amount that makes sense for our humble budget. Present that to the board, but first, let's get, this is if the board agrees, I'll entertain a motion for that. Or a motion for whatever else you guys think is appropriate.
So I will make a motion that we look at a cash in lieu option for employees who opt out of health insurance. That's gonna open us up for discussion, right? Cause I wanna make sure nobody else has an opinion or anybody else has an opinion on this besides my experience.
My only thought would be the reconciliation of that cash in lieu if somebody leaves. So, right, because typically, yes, you have these cash in lieu payments based off of when you're funded, but also it is a continued incentive for employee retention as well in and of itself. So my only other thought would be, what does that look like if that is in the proposal? What does that look like if somebody leaves?
So factor in what's the opposite of prorate? Post rate? You know what I'm trying to say, right? Okay. Is that your motion? And if it is, can you clean it up for the secretary, please? I just wanna see what you have written down, Tressa.
It's not cute, it's not.
Well, we're gonna make it short. So my motion is to have Greg come back next month with our cash in lieu options.
Table till next month for cash in lieu discussion.
Yeah, cause as it's presented right now, we
Yeah,
could
'cause we're not
make a motion
voting,
right now.
You're actually tabling it.
Yeah, the
We're
motion is
just
to
tabling it.
Yeah.
table it while Greg prepares a cash in lieu
I
option.
said table.
And that's the motion?
Yep.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Motion by Cole, second by Tressa. Can I get a roll call vote when the secretary is ready, please?
Brandon,
Yes.
Mishler,
Yes.
Kenner, yes, Benedict,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Hayes. Don't come, I'm
I'm bad, I can't vote.
Motion carried. budget adjustments, so your separate packet, please.
Yes, ma'am. This is in anticipation of our budget meeting, also in June. We're gonna have a very busy June meeting. These numbers are based on what pretty much we've actually spent, including the little buzz room for the next 4 weeks. Our fiscal year ends June 1st.
July first.
This is,
July first.
July
Or
1st, thank you.
June
I'm
30th.
sorry. As you know, our previous budget was based on our old budget when we didn't know if the millage was gonna pass. The millage passed. I can go to the end. Our total revenue for this year was $673,082. Expenses are probably gonna be in the line of $560,000, which leaves us a fund balance of $113,000.
Shut the front door.
One area that changed, not too dramatically, but dramatically, the previous board put in place a motion to cap employee salaries at $300,000 pending the approval of the millage. So employee staff wages, were down good this year, not good, we're down this year from about 350,000 last year to 210,000 this year. Summing it up is on the back, and our copiers do a very good job. So we have a fund balance of about $113,028 going into the next fiscal year. We have expected revenues of penal fines, state aid, if that comes through, service contracts, and a transfer from saving $200,000. So we have a total of $394,228.
And this includes what we voted on to spend for the remodel, right?
I have
Or
not
no?
taken the remodel off there yet.
Okay.
Okay, so, the next piece that we spoke on previously was, once this, revenue issue is fixed, to bring some staff back up to full-time,
Which
But-
we did.
Which we
we
did.
did.
Yeah.
And then
That
to give the,
changes, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then to give the, to give consideration to giving the director a competitive wage, because right now, the director does not have a competitive wage. We have director with a master's degree, which brings us federal funding, because it's in library science, correct?
State fund.
State funding, sorry. So, I'd like that to be on the agenda for next month, and Greg, I'm gonna ask you to do something difficult. I'd like you to pick a fair amount, and this isn't just for you, this is for the position of director. So please keep that in mind, because I know you typically ride very humble, but this is for the future of the library to be able to solicit talented directors as well as yourself.
I would like 250,000 a year.
Okay, all right, never mind.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
impressed already.
Okay,
And that is it, other than if I may take a moment to personally thank you for 8 years of your dedication and hard work. I'm not trying to make you tear up.
I'm not.
And we will, have a little celebration for you at our June meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Closing comments, please? You guys just go in a circle.
Go
Go ahead.
this way. Okay. I do wanna thank you. Since you came on, some of us came on, this board has come a long way, and I think that's primarily due to your leadership, and that's really cool. But I wish the village the best of luck on the cityhood. Because it's a beat grinder. Just saying. So, that's about what I have to say.
Thanks, Joe.
Wait a minute, what about,
Oh.
250, wow, that's.
I wrote it down.
Thank you.
It's on the official record. Amber?
I think that, in my very short time being here, as a Holly Township resident, I have seen a lot of amazing things come out of this library.
appreciate your leadership, and I'm humbled to have served with you for only a few months. Thank you for being the leader that you are, and you've left a legacy. It's amazing.
See if I make it count. No, I agree. Don't love when there's crazy conflicts of interest that change the way I feel about things. April, you have led this board for 8 years. It's been awesome. As somebody with a library background and being able to see our library move and do these things and have such an amazing staff and to keep them, and everything that has been accomplished in 8 years is fantastic. And I just don't love that this is where it's at, but it is what it is, and I appreciate that you are taking this initiative first to do what you gotta do and make sure that you're not on the wrong side of history with being somebody who could be accused of something, so I think you're doing a good job. Thank you. Also, I don't believe a director should make $250,000. Making sure everybody knows that's a joke, but even though it is fantastic.
What I'm hearing is to have on the next agenda to give Greg $250.
Between, I was gonna say.
But,
that's what he meant.
but I am
That's what he meant.
reassured that we could afford Thielen if we needed to, based on,
Yes, ma'am.
just in case Mel has to go, but hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah, this budget was great to look at. We're not ending the year in a deficit.
There's no red on here, guys.
I know.
That's a
That's
big
just-
deal for us.
That's amazing to see. This, to be comfortable instead of, you know, we have to chip into our savings, we have to chip into our
Due
savings.
partly to
Well,
8 years of April.
and with the big expenses coming up, which I know we're all looking forward to, it's really important that we don't chip into our savings. And I'd like you to hang on to a little nest egg, you know, it's, nice to have that. So, I will see you guys at next month's meeting, and this meeting is adjourned.
So just for the sake of discussion, when